Hello, everyone, and welcome to the guidance video for your field experience log and reflections. So if you are not in your first semester in the Tier 1 program, this will look very familiar to you. I know there are a few people who are in your first semester, so this is going to be brand new for you, but you will have one of these logs for each of your Tier 1 courses. And they'll look very similar to this. Um, and you have to have at least 42 hours in each of the courses because the state requires 250 hours total. So we have broken those up into 42 for each course. You might say, oh, I got 60 in my a course last semester. Can I use some of those? No, you have to get at least 42 in each course. So very quickly go over this. You'll notice that there are some instructions here, and it says read these instructions before completing and then delete them before you submit it. So lots of times people forget that. So just make sure you do that. You are going to fill out everything that's in blue, you're going to change, or if it's blank, you're going to fill in. If you see blue text, you're going to replace that. So we'll go through this. So top part, the course is already there. The leader candidate is you, your school or district. University supervisor is me. The mentor is the person who signed your form and is going to be supporting you through the Tier 1 process. And the coach is also me. Notice that it says EDL 7401 instructor. So that's me. If you were in the program last semester, you left that blank because you hadn't taken 7401 yet. Next semester, you'll continue to put my name in that box right there. So your populations, this is for your school or your district, whichever you choose. And you're going to fill in all of this information for both the faculty and staff and the students. So for me, I'm a middle school person. I would most likely be filling in the 6 to 8 column and the 6 to 8 column for the students. So 6 to 8 column for faculty and staff. How many do I have? You're going to put a number or a percent. Doesn't matter which one. And just get as close as you possibly can. Sometimes the data is hard to find. And so, just do the best that you can to gather as much information as you can. You'll notice that under gender, you've got female, male, and there's a blank. If your school or district has students or faculty and staff that can identify as non-binary or any other category, then you might want to add that in. That's just there in case your particular school or district has an additional category under gender. Does not have to be filled out if that does not apply to your school or district. Then you'll get to where you're logging hours. Okay. And you'll notice that the majority of the hours are already filled in for you. So you're exploring instructional leadership assignment, your first major one. You've got 6.5 hours attached to that. It's not in blue, so you're not messing with that. But over here, the blue text, you're going to fill in the date you submitted and the level where you logged this. So you must have hours in elementary, middle, high, and district. So again, I'm a middle school person. I would most likely be doing my major assignments in middle. So I would right here, right there, I would change that to middle. And I would not change the 6.5 hours or the outcome. All right, and then you'll notice under each major assignment, it has some other suggestions. You've got to get those other hours. So for me, it would be I need at least 2.5 hours in elementary, at least 2.5 hours in high, and at least 2.5 in district, because I'm getting most of mine in middle. And here are some suggestions of where you might get some of those hours. This isn't due until the last day of class, but you see if you wait until the last day of class, then it's going to be kind of a mess because you're not going to have the hours that you need. Sometimes people panic and they're like, what? Do I have to go to an elementary? No, not necessarily. You don't have to go there. Maybe you could do some of this virtually. Maybe you're going to read or do research or listen to podcasts or whatever instead of actually physically going to a place. So no, don't panic. If you have questions, ask. And know that it needs to be specific to this course, instructional leadership. So you can't use your curriculum hours or your community hours from another course in this course. Your hours have to be specific to instructional leadership. Notice that you're going to put some totals down here when you're finished. You have to have at least 2.5 in each of them. For whatever your site is, you're probably going to have many, many more. Again, like for me, middle school, I would have many more, but I have to get at least 2.5 in all the others. And then the final thing is your reflections. These reflections are very specific to this course. So the questions might look the same, but you're answering them about this course. Notice that it says up here a minimum of 3 to 4 sentences. So we really want you to be thinking about, what did you learn about leadership from this course? You'll notice, what did you learn about feedback and motivating teachers in this course? So you're writing specific to this course, and then you're submitting it on the last day. We'll have several more reminders around this, but good to go ahead and get started, at least thinking of where you might do your extra hours as you do each of the assignments. As always, please let me know if you have any questions at all.